This is Jupiter. She has a loving caretaker who provides her with food and shelter and the freedom to explore. Unfortunately, many parrots are not so lucky and are forced to exist in bleak and lonely living conditions. Join us today as we talk with Matt Smith, Executive Director and founder of Project Perry, the Central Virginia Parrot Sanctuary, to find out what he and his organization are doing to rescue birds in need. Right, Jupiter?
This is a double door setup. We come in through one door, shut it behind us, and then we can open up the second door. And that is because most of the parrots we have here on Sanctuary are flighted, and they could escape if it was a single door system. So we're very careful with that, so that we have no escapees. See?
Oh, this is a beautiful aviary. So this is one of 5, right?
Yep, this is the African gray aviary, and this is for our flighted group of African grays. There's 40 of them that live in here.
And they have beautiful plants. Oh, I hear a waterfall. Oh, look at this.
I created a waterfall system in here to give them the enrichment of flowing water. They could bathe in it if they wish. It just also adds a calming atmosphere to the aviary.
Oh, this is great. Well, let's keep going. I hear birds. I'm seeing some birds.
It's like walking through a miniature forest.
So Matt, what inspired you to build a sanctuary in the first place?
About 15 years ago after college, I got involved in parrots as pets, just like a lot of people do. And about 12 years ago, I had a conure named Perry. And Perry was a blue-crowned conure. And she was very young. She became ill at that young age. She ended up passing away. Nothing I could do and the veterinary team could save her. And that led me into the world of rescue. When she passed away, I began volunteering at an existing rescue sanctuary organization in Massachusetts. It was then that I began to see another side of parrot ownership, the side of the neglected, abused, discarded, those kind of parrots that aren't so fortunate to have a great, permanent, loving home.
So let's talk about the world of rescue. Why the need for a sanctuary like this?
A lot of parrots out there actually come from really bad situations. They're either neglected or abused. Their needs aren't being met. 2 of the biggest needs for parrots are flight and flock. And those are the 2 very things that a lot of parrots just don't get as pets. They're kept in a cage, oftentimes as a single bird, and from that they can develop issues that prevent them from being a well-socialized bird that thrives in a home setting. This leads a lot of people to surrendering a bird to another home or an organization. In addition to that, there's cruelty cases from time to time which parrots are involved in. These can be from bird mills or hoarding situations.
Yeah, so talk about bird mills. I don't think people think about that.
Everyone's familiar with the concept of a puppy mill.
Right.
There's also parrot mills, and these are places that have hundreds, if not a few thousand birds on premises in rows of cages that are simply there to produce eggs and babies for the pet trade, whether they be sold online, shipped to pet stores to be sold, or sold directly to the consumer. And it's a largely hidden part of the parrot world that people don't know about it. So one thing we try to do is educate the public to teach them about some of the issues.
Talk about the other aviaries. So what other birds do you have outside?
Total, there's 160 on the property, and that's made up of about 15,000 square feet of aviary space for them.
Majority are the African grays, right?
A third of our population are African grays. They've been heavily marketed as a great pet to have with you, and they are very intelligent. They've been proven to have the emotional capacity and the intelligence of a 3 to 5-year-old human child. So it is superior intelligence. So African grays make up quite a large percentage of the surrender requests that we do receive from people. And the fact that we also specialize in wild-caught X-breeding African grays, that has led us to build these aviaries like this for African grays where they can live more of a natural life with each other and not be put in the face of humans as in terms of a pet.
So talk about what it means to be a wild-caught bird.
One of the unique and special things about our sanctuary and some other sanctuaries that exist for parrots is that there's still a wild-caught population of parrots in this country, mostly birds that remain in breeding situations, not pets. Almost 50% of parrots that live here on sanctuary are wild-caught. What that essentially means is that they were born in their native countries, whether it be African greys, being from Africa, some of the macaws or conures from South America, and we're talking 20, 30, 40 plus years ago, they were captured in their native homelands, only to be put in a situation that was just absolutely tragic for them. And so being able to take in birds from breeding situations or cruelty cases that have that history is just one of the most rewarding things about this work and what I do. And to see these birds once again be able to fly around and have flock with each other is just absolutely amazing.
And you have 2 macaws inside the house, and they have interesting stories. One is missing so many of his feathers and they won't grow back. Talk about that.
His name is Trent. He's a green-winged macaw. He could very well be in his 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s or more. He's an old guy. And being a wild-caught, what that means is that he was born in South America, trapped, and shipped to this country, in his case, to become a breeder bird before coming here. So his head is bald because when he was a breeder bird, his mate actually had nothing to do except mate, breed, and pluck herself and pluck him. And that's why his head is bald.
And he likes people okay. He doesn't really want you to talk to him or pet him. But you can be in the room with him, but he's like, he'll take or leave you, right?
Which is amazing because when he first came, he was so afraid of people. And he waves now, he talks. He mimics what volunteers and other people have said to him in there. And while he's still not a hands-on bird, he really does enjoy watching what's going on in the house. So he's an amazing story.
So how do you and your staff take care of 160 birds? How does that work? There must be a daily routine.
There's a daily routine, and we have to stay on top of things every single day in order to meet the needs of the sanctuary of the residents. I cut up fresh fruits and veggies, a big bowl of it every morning, and the volunteers and staff come in at 9 o'clock, and then they start with the cleaning process of the rooms, the cages, fresh newspaper in some of the cages in the house, mopping and scrubbing those floors, and then we clean the food bowls every day, get them fresh water and fresh food, and that pretty much takes care of our general morning routine. By the end of the day, it's all destroyed.
Yeah.
and the next morning we start it over again. So it's a matter of just keeping on top of that schedule, that routine, staying on top of the cleanliness and care, and that helps maintains things the way they should.
Well, and this sanctuary is accredited. Explain what that means.
We are double accredited. We're accredited by the American Sanctuary Association and the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries. They review you on paper, they review your standards of care, your facilities, your environments, your veterinary care. It is a very grueling and detailed process, and once you've gone through the process and they give you the thumbs up, you get accreditation. It's just that extra step that we went to assure people that we are doing things ethically in the best way we can.
So, okay, you have 160 birds, and I have heard that you know the names, with the exception of the small birds, you know the names of all the birds.
Yes, me and most of the staff and volunteers here, they each have their own different behaviors, the characteristics. For example, Sammy up here, I know him because of his plucking pattern. And the fact that he talks. He talks like that. Each one of them just has a different look or behavior to them that tells me who they are.
Max likes to stay with you.
Max, yeah.
Moody Max.
He's easy to pick out because he has a look to him. And when you spend every day with them, you can usually look at a bird and know right away who they are because of a look. And he has this intent, focused look that he gives people, and sometimes it's a friendly thing and sometimes it's a very naughty thing, And that's exactly what led him to rescue. He's gotten better in here because he has more exercise and he's happier in here, but every once in a while that aggression issue does come out in him.
If we could close with a bit of advice for people who are interested in getting birds, what would you say?
I would recommend a lot of research going into parrot ownership before you jump into it. Most of the failed parrot ownerships have come from people who have not done their full research. They've maybe gone into a pet store, seen a really cute, cuddly baby, but getting one impulsively often leads to disaster because they're not fully prepared for their longevity, the destruction that they may cause to your house, the loud vocalizations. There's a whole host of issues that do not make them suitable as pets for the average person. And you can spend time here at the sanctuary as a volunteer to see really what it is you're getting into. You'll be able to hear the vocalization, see some of the destruction, even some of the destruction in that house, some of the trim chewing, floor chewing.
Yeah.
You get to really see these things and then make a decision, can you really care for a parrot for its life? And if the answer is yes, then we always steer people towards adopting a parrot versus buying a parrot because there's so many birds out there that need new homes.
Right.
And a lot of these birds are just great, well-adjusted birds that would do okay in the right home. Another reason we have people visit here to learn about parrots as pets is they can see some of the aviaries or bird rooms that we've done to show people that there's a different way to keep parrots as pets. It's not always going to be a cage with the bird in it while you leave during the day and leave that bird alone. And so you can do a bird room with other birds in it, so they always have companionship of another bird. And those type of situations tend to work out much better than a single parrot in a cage. And so we try to prepare people to think outside the cage in terms of better parrot companionship.
That is great. Matt, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.